Have you ever looked at a startup with a killer idea, a brilliant team, maybe even a ton of funding, and then watched it just completely fail? It's crazy, right? Well, it turns out the real killers aren't always the big, obvious threats everyone's watching. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the hidden problems that quietly sabotage startups from the inside.
So, let's just ask it straight up. What really sinks a startup? Yeah, we hear about the usual suspects all the time. But what if the real story, the one that actually matters, is way more subtle and it's happening right under our noses?
All right, first up, let's talk about the usual suspects. You know, these are the big, splashy problems that grab all the headlines whenever a promising new company goes under.
I mean, we're talking about things like running out of money, right? Or wrestling with some crazy new technology, or just getting crushed by the competition. And look, let's be real. These are absolutely huge deals, for sure. But more often than not, they aren't the root cause. They're just symptoms of a much deeper problem.
Because here's the thing. The really damaging problems, they're almost always invisible from the outside. They're buried deep inside the company's day-to-day work, baked right into the very way the team operates.
So that's why we're going to look past all that external drama for a minute. We're going to zoom way in and focus on the internal flaws, the execution problems that can just quietly bleed a company dry before anyone even knows what hit them. And the first one we need to talk about is a big one. It's maybe the most dangerous, the most deceptive of them all. It's this phenomenon called the illusion of progress. You know what this feels like? It's that tricky situation where everyone feels incredibly productive. The team looks busy, tasks are getting checked off to-do lists, Slack is going nuts, but the real results, the stuff that actually moves the needle for your customers and for the business, man, it's not even close. It's still miles away. And this right here, this is the absolute heart of the issue. See, on one side, you've got all the signs of activity. Busy teams, completed tasks, a calendar just jammed with meetings. It looks like work, it feels like work. But then you've got the other side, the signs of genuine progress. You know, actual outcomes are delivered, big strategic goals are being met, and this is the most important one, your users are actually happy. So the million-dollar question every team has to ask is, are we just busy or are we actually getting somewhere? This quote just nails it, doesn't it? Activity often gets confused with real progress. It is such an easy trap to fall into, even for the smartest teams, because let's face it, activity is just so much easier to measure than actual impact. But this illusion of progress doesn't just happen on its own. It's actually fueled by a bunch of other hidden problems, these silent roadblocks that just create chaos and grind everything to a halt from within. Okay, first up, a serious lack of execution visibility. This is basically when the founders and the leadership team are flying completely blind. They might look at a project dashboard that says 90% complete, but in reality, a critical piece of it hasn't even been started yet. They're tracking busyness, not reality. Next, you've got fragmented communication. Just think about it for a second. A huge decision gets made in a quick hallway chat or on a 5-minute video call, and nobody writes it down. And over time, all that vital context just gets lost, scattered to the wind. It's like trying to build a jet engine after the blueprints have been put through a shredder. And then, oh yeah, there's the classic founder bottleneck. This is when every single important decision, no matter how small, has to get approval from just one or two people. The entire company's momentum just slows to a crawl. Honestly, the team ends up spending more time waiting for a green light than actually driving forward. And seriously, the list keeps going. You've got unclear ownership where no one really knows who's on the hook for what. You've got bloated product roadmaps that are basically just fantasy wish lists. There's invisible technical debt that's quietly piling up in the dark, silent team burnout festering under the surface, and weak or even non-existent feedback from the very people you're building for. It's just a minefield of hidden blockers.
So this brings us to what might be the single most important insight from this whole explainer. I want you to really let this one sink in. Great ideas alone don't build successful startups. Strong execution systems do. That's it. That is the whole game. It's not just about what you build, it's all about how you build it.
So the solution then is to build what we can call the execution advantage. And what that really means is you have to start treating your internal systems and processes not as boring administrative chores, but as your most powerful, your most sustainable competitive weapon.
So how do you actually build this execution engine? Well, the path forward is surprisingly direct. Step 1, create crystal clear ownership so everyone knows exactly what they are accountable for, period. Step 2, build transparent progress tracking that is laser-focused on outcomes, not just activity. And Step 3, establish fast, reliable feedback loops, both with your team and with your users. This is how you start to turn all that chaotic activity into real, measurable momentum.
And really, it all comes down to this powerful final thought. Sometimes the biggest risk in a startup is not what everyone sees. It's the hidden inefficiencies quietly slowing the entire team. It's so true. It's not the tidal wave you see coming that sinks the ship. It's the slow, silent leaks below the waterline that nobody's paying attention to.
So I'll leave you with a question to chew on. What hidden inefficiencies, what tiny leaks might be quietly slowing your team down right now? Something to think about. Thanks so much for joining us for this explainer. We'll see you on the next one.